Welcome back, all my fellow CS2 Case Market consultants out there living on this earth. Welcome back to a brand new day of CS2 Case Market Coverage. We're going to be jumping right into this video. Do not waste your time or your money here at this channel with the snakebite case. This case realistically is up to 38 cents here. From the last video, it was at about 37 cents. In the last one, the clutch case has stayed the exact same at about 70 cents from the last video. Now moving down to the CS20s. We're up to 121 on these. We're at 118 in the last video. And this is where we're going to start to see cases really start to push forward. Really, every other case after this one takes a big leap forward. And with the CS20s in particular, you can see we are almost at the all-time high that we reached right before the sale, which was a pretty big jump on a lot of cases. This one was up to about 126 at the very, very peak. So we are on our way comfortably back to that. And if you go ahead and watch some of the older videos, you could see where I would tell you guys, like during the sale, I think that this is going to climb probably within 2 weeks. In another video, I said to a month max, probably to see recovery on this market where we were pre-sale. Some people said they thought the market was cooked for long term. I disagreed with that. But yeah, here we are on our way back up to where, right, like I told you guys, it probably would be in about 2 weeks to a month. We just see this with every sale. It's like such a common pattern. I don't really know why you would bug out too much about it. But yeah, anyway, that's the CS20s. Now with the Prismas, we moved up on the Prismas specifically from 142 to 144, now to 146 with the Prisma 2s. These were 144 in the last video. So 2 cent jumps on both of the Prisma cases, moving up steadily. The danger zones are where we see a particularly big jump. In the last video, we were about, I don't think I actually showcased it on accident. It didn't like come up correctly in the load order, but as of the time that I filmed that video, is about 146, now up to 152. So this is one of the ones that's actually taken a really, really big leap back up. Now almost pushing into that 160 range that it peaked at pre-sale. Again, I think we're going to be there in another couple weeks, making it a total of about a month after the sale. We should be reaching some pretty big highs on these cases. Now, one case that's already done it is the Horizon case, now up to 211. In the last video, it was about 207 realistically. Uh, Now at 211, so a 4 cent jump on this. This puts it really back into the territory of being where it was at, lingering for a long time at its all-time high before the sale. So looking really good on the Horizon case. The Shadow case in particular, let's see what the Shadow case did. We were at 196 in the last video, so up to 207, a really big, giant, monumental jump on the Shadow case. Looking really good from this one. Obviously, we're not back to where it peaked at about 230, but we're definitely taking some steady climbs back towards that point. Looking pretty good on that case. Now with the Falchion case, now at 248 here. Uh, Realistically, where were we on the Falchion? 244 in the last video, now at 248. So up about 4 cents from the last one. The Revolver up to 351. It was at about 341 in the last one. 357 realistically. Once you get past the front listing price, looking really good on that case. Actually, the Revolver case could be pushing towards the $4 range within the next couple months. This is really the biggest jump we've seen from it since, obviously, since the fall. But like this case, just for whatever reason, does not steadily take giant jumps nearly as often as other cases. It took one pretty big jump when a lot of these other cases did, but other than that, it's like for whatever reason, it's kind of a stay still case. But if you go ahead and look, we're actually about 2,200 cases down on the market from the last video. So definitely they're getting bought up, and that's why you can see that price start to rise. The Spectrum 2s here were about 361 in the last one, up to 369. So looking really good on those ones. The wildfires were 383, now 393. So 10 cent jumps on both of these cases is actually looking really good. And I think this could go unchecked personally for at least another month or two. Obviously, we're going to see big drops again in the summer for the summer sale. Before that point, I definitely think we could be surging to some new all-time highs. We're going to have to keep our eye on the market, though. You can never, say anything too for sure. And I don't want to like say that, too concrete. But that is just my personal projection. This is kind of what happens usually most years, but it's kind of been stagnant for some time since they hit a peak a long time ago. But I'm not going to get into a lot. Continuing to move on here, down the line to the Gamma 2s. Where are we at on the Gamma 2s? 399 in the last video, now up to about 415. Though that could, I did just write down the front listing prices from the last video, so some of these could have just been some offloaders on a couple of these cases. But Yeah, really, you can see it. Pretty good recovery on these cases. They all dipped down extremely far during that spring sale, but definitely coming back up. The gammas 429 here. What were the gammas in the last one? 423. So these have continued moving up from the last video. Uh, just slow but steady on some of these outside of the horizons, the danger zones. Really like in between a video, a 4 cent jump is pretty monumental on a case, especially like the Horizon case, and like a 6 cent jump on the Danger Zone case is actually pretty big. That's really good movement forward, and if we can continue to see this over the next few weeks, we're definitely going to go past those all-time highs we were at just before the sales. Now moving in here to these higher priced cases, we can see right away the Vanguard case. It was way down. I told you guys that was probably just some offloaders because it was at like something like I think 473 in the last video, so now up to 521 again. Um, Definitely, yeah. It's definitely was just some offloaders. Like I say with these cases where there's very few listed on the market, it's actually like, anybody just offloading, 100 or so odd cases can tank the market down for a day or two. So definitely saw that come right back. The Spectrum, where was that in the last video? Mm, Not seeing it, not seeing it. But yeah, I don't know if I wrote that one down. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Chroma 2s, those specifically were three, no, what? 434. 434. So we're up about 10 cents on those as well. Moving down the line, the Shattered Webs, I think actually might have went down a couple of cents. They were like 616. Now down to 614. Looks like some offloaders, but definitely like somebody buys up 400 cases or something one day, you're going to see a big jump on this case. It's just obviously one of the cases that's harder to buy in because it is so expensive. But outside of that, Broken Fang up about 7 cents. The Winter Offensives up about 34 cents from the last video. So, like I said, with cases like I don't know why it's displaying like that, but with cases like this, uh, literally someone could buy up 10 of these and we'll be up a dollar. So that's how it gets when you get to these lower listing price cases on the market. Um, that's why it takes some of these higher listing cases so much longer to move. But let's see. The breakout case 985 looking pretty good. Actually seeing some really big jumps realistically because in the last video we were at 973. So I guess that's not crazy, but about a 13-cent increase keeps pushing this towards the $10 range, which I don't know if it's actually ever reached. This could be the first time for the $10 range on this case. So it's definitely heading in that direction for the breakout case. Really crazy we've seen that movement. I think it was about like $8 when we started making these videos. So definitely moving fast. I didn't write down the Riptide. The glove case. Didn't write down the glove case either, but I do think it is up a matter of like, yeah, actually a lot. We made the last video about here, maybe about 1050 it was at. Now we are at about damn, 42 cents is crazy. That's actually a really big jump. And obviously, yeah, you do see that on the higher price cases. Jumps happen way quicker once they get in these higher prices, which is definitely why you want to get in on these rare cases while they are lower priced. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you all so much for coming out. Leave your guys' input down below about how you guys are feeling about the case market, and any input you guys have about how you feel it's going to be going in the future. So thank you guys all for coming out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.